Hello and welcome to Heather and Hops. My name is Katt, or Catherine, and I'm a knitter based in Hertfordshire in the United Kingdom. This is my little space on the internet where I have documented my knitting journey from Project 1 through to now, where I have shared quite a few. I think last time I looked on Ravelry there was just a few under 200 projects, which isn't accurate because I haven't put all my knits on there because human whirlwind. But yeah, it's lovely to see you again if you've been here before. Welcome if this is your first time here. I hope that you enjoy your visit. Today I have a coffee. I haven't had one in a little while. I had one at the weekend, but I haven't been having them in the week, and today just felt like a bit of a treat day. I've got a lot to do today, but I thought I would sit down and just take this time, hopefully at a less chaotic pace than I felt like I have been recently. I really hope you also can't hear the builders. They were making a lot of noise, so I've had to wait a little bit later than I'd hoped to record. But that also means that I have my coffee, I'm hydrated with some water. And yeah, so this, I just want to say thank you, because every time I do sit down and have a coffee, it does remind me of my Ko-Fi account, which I know says tea, but that's because I drink tea every day. But yeah, so thank you. It's quite nice to kind of feel like I've got quite a few of you with me in my thoughts when I'm sipping on this. So that's a decaf, because that's what I do now. I do sometimes have a full full caffeinated drink, but I found that it's too much for the not so much energy that I'm using. It just makes me stay awake now. Anyway, onwards. I have some finished objects and some ish, so we'll get on with it. I don't know. Do I do this? Is this what I do? So I have been on a bit of a Varpu knitting kick lately, and I did think that I was not going to knit anymore, but I have. And that's because I knit my black one, and almost the second it came off, I've worn it. Like, I wear it a lot. It's like a, just a throw on all the time. And I think that will replace a couple of my other jumpers that I'll gift. And I say this a lot and people worry, but I will only gift things that I really don't need in my wardrobe and feel like can either be replaced or are being replaced with something that I already have. And I have been saying for quite some time that cardigans are something that's missing, and that's really, really true. I quite like tops and t-shirts, and it's a shame to always hide them under knitting, but if I can wear knitting and wear them and then be seen, So the black one that I did was using Drops alpaca, brushed alpaca silk held double, and this is the last of it, so I don't have any more of this anymore, and it's the Drops black silk alpaca, but it's also I think it was a skein and some scraps or ends from the Drops Flora that I knit, a pattern by Rachel Isley, who is Unwind Knitwear. So I knit her Arte Nouveau top, and I really like that top. I just don't know, I don't wear it that often, and I think it's back to the whole t-shirts. Woolly t-shirts aren't really my thing, unless they're oversized, and I think if they're really big and you've got enough room in them, that's quite good, but I did opt to do it in black, which, hindsight, hey. But yeah, so I had a bit of that left over, and I thought, well, it's just enough to make another item, so I opted to make a cardigan version, which I'm very happy with. I, again, did the sleeves to pattern. I didn't adjust too much on this one. I think I picked up a few less stitches than the pattern suggests, but overall I followed the instructions. And I did follow the instructions for the rest. All I did was stop in the middle and start working backwards and forwards, where you'd either start in the round or just knit the front and then knit the back. That makes sense. So I did them each side front separately and then knitted flat from the underarms. And it came out wonderful. I'm not going to put it on because I've had to shut all the windows and doors because of the noise. And it's really quite warm. I think the last time I checked it read 31 degrees in this room, which is pretty warm. So yeah, I'll try and put it on sneakily so that you can see, but right now that's not going to happen. Yeah, really happy with this. Again, I will get a lot of wear out of it. It's black and it's a cardigan. It will and has already been seen quite a bit of wear. Like I say often, I am a bit of a toddler. You can see bits of the park in here already, and it is already pulling quite badly, which I kind of expected, to be honest. It's gonna last. Hopefully it will just start felting a bit and then have a little bit more wear, but hold up to a little bit more wear. But yeah, really happy with it. If you're looking for a very simple pattern that knits up fairly quickly, that's good for gifts, that's good as a wardrobe staple, I would say this is a great one. I only did a few rows of ribbing on the front, so I just picked up and did some ribbing. I thought that would give a little bit more structure to it, and it does seem to have done that. But yeah, very easy to modify, like I've shown previously. And oh hey, Audrey. Audrey is the in-house mascot / kitten. What are you, Audrey? Oh, you're warm. Where have you been? Here she is. She won't join me. She will be probably a bit confused as to why the doors are closed. Anyway, yes. Great pattern. Like I say, this is, I think, maybe the 6th or 7th time, maybe even 8th that I've knitted. Nah, not 8th. Can't be 8 yet. That I've knitted this. And 10 out of 10. Great simple pattern. Knits up on 10mm needles. I've got various different fits just by changing needle size. And kind of checking my gauge or being really wild and risking it. But yeah. I'm going to show you this quickly just because I'm not sure if this is a secret test knit or a allowed to share test knit, and I don't want to do it having not asked. But I've worked a test knit up, and it is a summary one by Ivy and Autumn, who is Courtney Little. I previously test knitted her Lydia 2.0 pattern, and that top in particular I really, really like. It's got a beautiful lace hem, beautiful shape to it, and you can wear it forwards or backwards, which I quite like about it, but I don't do v-necks very much, so I wear it with the higher neck at the front. And yeah, I have knitted that twice, and happen to have knitted the test knit this time twice too. So I knit it in this. So this is La Bien-Aimée, and it is the Merino Super Sock, which is 425 meters per 100 grams, 75% superwash merino and 25% nylon in the peanut butter and jelly colourway. And I've been saying this a lot, I have kind of stepped away from superwash, however I will use what I have and cherish it. This in particular was a gift for our wedding, which is really, really sweet, and I was really surprised at how much I love this knitted up. I'm only going to show you the stockinette just so you can see what it, what it looks like knitted up. And it really is, it's got kind of cornflowery colours. Yeah, as well as sort of oranges and grape jelly, I could imagine that's the colour, and sort of the brownie tones of peanut butter. It's just, it's come out really lovely. However, I did swatch and I've got tighter as I swatched, and even after blocking, where before it actually grew a bit, it did not. So I felt like I didn't get a true representation of the test knit. So I re-swatched and cast on using what I didn't use of a skein of this, which is the Manos del Uruguay amethyst earring. But I believe it's called Dragon. Oh, the location's called Dragon. It is called amethyst earring, which makes a lot more, well, I think it could be dragon colour. But it's amethyst earring, and it is a 70% wool and 30% silk blend, and it really is beautiful. Yep, I've taken it into the garden. It's really, really ridiculously soft, and that silk gives it such a good drape. And I'll just show you that knit up on its own. Without sharing the pattern. So this is knit up gorgeously, and I think it's more in my wheelhouse than I anticipated it being. I think it will go with everything. It's kind of a neutral. This one did knit up more to gauge, but when I can share it, and I will hopefully next week or the week after show you them finished, but I wanted to talk about it while I remembered, and it was fresh in my mind. It is beautiful, and the shape on the back is stunning, but I think what I'm going to have to do is pick up either side of the underarms and do some short rows or something and add a bit more coverage, because it's just, the shaping's just not quite to my liking. But I might even just rip back and then adjust it now that I've completed the test knit. And that's not to say that I don't think others will love it, but it's just not practical for me. So really excited about the test knit. Love how the yarns have both knitted up. Hey, Audrey. She's being really distracting. Aww. She's had a little walk and is rolling around in the blanket. Yes, and I've really enjoyed doing a test knit. I haven't done one in quite some time. Bear with me. And just approaching it slightly different to how I have been maybe with the Varpu, where I've just been able to almost memorise it. It's been quite nice. But yeah, oh, speaking of test knits, my Scotland Shawl, Adventure Shawl, still haven't quite decided on a name, but I think we're going to move towards a more D&D inspired name, because D&D. But I have a couple of lovely test knitters test knitting it finally, so when they're done, hopefully we'll be able to share that with everyone, and that's really exciting for me, because that's been something that's been with me for nearly a year, if not more, and I wasn't going to do anything with it, but I had such a lovely response that we're doing it, so that's fun. Yeah, and I have an ish finished whip. I think this will be quite a short episode looking at the time already, and I'll stop saying hopefully too. So this is my beautiful cardigan by LB Hand Knits. Albina Albion is also spelled on her Instagram, and I just love her work. Her designs are very thought out. Really? She's found her tail. Audrey has just discovered her tail. I'm going to pause you and just see if I can get a clip. Nope. Anyway, so I knitted this using yarn that was very kindly gifted to me by Mary Catherine, and this bag she made too, and it has so many pockets I can't even begin to explain. Like, there's 2 on each corner basically. So this was, or is, Nutiden. I think it's the Vibic colourway, and that's a little lucky charm which they do, which I had no idea about until I've received these, and it's such a stunning colour, and it did actually remind me of our lovely DM who knitted a gorgeous version of my Spring Intentions in what feels like most of the colours that are in this yarn, but it didn't have these colours, which is in her version, and these were just sat together on the side, and I randomly decided to swatch and was very happy with the outcome. It was while playing D&D that I chose the colours for the colour work. Now, initially I was thinking I might use more pink, but I did opt for something more neutral for, hopefully more wearability. I have finished everything. I've woven in ends. I just haven't put buttons on, which I will do, but in truth it has been a bit warm to be putting this on to just check, which is how I quite like to do my buttons. It's to put them on, pin them if I can, and then try it. I love the finish on this. I think Albion spent quite a bit of time. I do have a sneaky bit of the contrast colour poking out here, just making sure that it all worked. So all of the inside of the stranded colourwork's hidden on both the sleeves. I have done it a bit chaotically. It should block out a bit. This is the method that I usually use. So I've kind of done a welt and a 3-needle bind off as opposed to just sewing it. I just find that I will probably get a better finish than if I sewed it, because my sewing skills have significantly fallen since my A-level textiles years, which is a lot longer ago than I care to think about right now, I think. But yeah, a beautiful pattern. I really enjoyed working it. The pattern now comes with options for not having stranded colourwork at the edges. I believe there's 2 options. I can't remember off the top of my head what they are, but it's a very complete pattern and does come with a lot of options for modifications. But I couldn't resist the colourwork. I haven't done any in a little while, and yeah, really love this piece. Can't wait for the evening already, because I only finished this yesterday. The day before. And yesterday we had quite a busy day, which was really nice until we played D&D, and it was still too warm to even consider putting it on while we were playing. So yeah, really happy with this. I could imagine wanting to knit more of them for gifts too. I think it's just gorgeous. It's somewhere between a jacket and a cardigan, maybe. It's got like that sort of structured, beautiful shape. I don't think I'm going to put a pocket in it. I did think I might add a pocket. I think what I'm going to do is, since I really am treated so kindly over here, and I say it all the time, I just can't thank you enough. But I think what I'm going to do is pay it forward and send this Nutiden off to someone very special. She will already know who she is at this point, because I did say if I had any left I would love to send it to her. So hopefully I'll receive an address very soon and I can send this, pass this on, because I would like to do more of that, sharing, bits that I could probably use, but sharing's caring, and looking after others is just as important to me. So thank you so much, Mary Catherine. Thank you so much, Maud, too, who gifted me a voucher to purchase the Wild Atlantic mohair, which is the Sorcha base on the Clover colourway. Yeah, and then just in case, this dark grey is Whistlebear Yevering Bell, and I held Rowwork Sport in quartz with like an ash mohair from Drops that I had, and I love it. It goes very nicely with my skirt that I'm wearing, which is not too far off the colour of my favourite blue linen trousers, so yay! Yay! So strange. I'll have a sip of coffee. Let's do this one. So, this is my Duckpool Lane bag. I really like this one still. This was, I think, the second bag I ever bought. I now have a beautiful collection of project bags, but they're not something that I ever felt like I had to purchase. However, I did buy a jumper sized one from Leslie, I believe. Is her name? I'm gonna check because I don't want to get it wrong. Here's Leslie. Leslie sent, it was just beautiful. So I purchased a bag because I was getting mohair everywhere, and then found them to be useful, so I ordered a second one not too long after, and now I have a beautiful collection of mostly handmade bags. Leslie is particularly special, not only because she's lovely, but her cat and my cat have sent each other treats, which is just awesome if you ask me. Anyway, so I showed this little big swatch that was a rough idea that I had for a pattern, and this yarn is discontinued. This yarn is very worth the money, but I think for the yardage and things it wasn't gonna, so we couldn't do anything with it, even though we loved the colours. And I tried it in like 4 different types of colours and a couple of different types of yarn, and it never quite worked. Now I have noticed I've done something a bit squiffy, is the best way to describe it. So I actually do think I have to go back, and that's not because of the colour work, the lace work. It's because I've done something on these side sections, which has just meant that I think I'm 2 stitches off on one side, and whether I'm committed enough to rip back or just sneak the stitches in, I'm not sure. I might give it a little steam block and see. But we have a version that I'm really excited by. I love how this yarn is showing up the texture. You can see it. So this is by one of my favourite humans on the entire planet. So look at these 2 colours together. So this is thick skein. In the top one is grey incap, and I believe the bottom one is called Scottish Cottages. I don't have the ball band here. I think it's inside, and I don't want to upset my cake. But Angie and Avery are 2 of my favourite people. They're just wonderful souls in the knitting community. doing good, being excellent, and they've worked really hard to get a non-superwash wool and to be able to dye it in a very similar way to the effect you would get on superwash. Angie has really worked for this and it's paid off, I think. It's got a nice high twist, which is showing in these stitches to me. I am so excited. So I can't wait to get on with this, but I've been trying to just take it slow and really enjoy it, since I'm hoping for it to be a gift. I don't want to be rushing through it and yeah, I don't know. It's always weird talking about something that you've made up, but I'm really enjoying knitting on it. It's just the texture of the yarn. It's so soft and squishy. For me, I would say this is not scratchy at all, but I know some people are really sensitive, but for me, I would 100% wear this close to skin, and I do have a little bit more yarn back there that maybe will become something that I can wear close to skin, and not just a shawl. I've got a few things to decide still. I might give it a little steam block to see if I need to really panic about the sides having different stitch count. But I am really glad that after quite a long time of talking about this project with Alex and not knowing what to do, because it was kind of just going to get put away and then just never dealt with. I say dealt with, but you know what I mean, I was just not going to do anything with it, but this came to me at just the perfect time, and yeah, real things are happening, which is really fun. But like I said, I'm actually, I think this weekend in particular, I got my first jab on Friday, and my arm is only just feeling like I've got more full movement, and I might be able to sleep on it tonight. It's not felt very good, and my joints have felt a bit iffy. So I didn't knit as much over the weekend as I usually would, and I just think actually I'm going to have a little bit of a slower pace for a little bit. But we'll see, because this is really exciting. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll take it a little bit easier, but I love it and it is what I do. So she says that and is immediately going to retract her statement. And then finally, I have, doesn't look like anything really, but I have started a Coziest Memories blanket, and this will be a gift. For I don't know if I can say it. They're not going to see it, but a sibling might. You can figure that out. Yeah, so I'm going to do it with the help of Alex. We need to get Alex to swatch and see what his needle will be versus mine. I've opted to go up, so there will be a little bit more rectangular as opposed to square. I personally think having a little bit more drape is going to be quite nice. Might be foolish, but that's just the thought of doing a blanket on 2.75mm needles didn't excite me, if I'm honest, and I thought a little bit of drape. Our blanket that we have is gorgeous, but can be actually too warm. Yeah, I'm just using bits that I have. So this was a gift from Becky. This was from just 5 grams from a sample of yarn that we sent off a long time ago. This was from a pair of socks, and this was from, what did I knit? I think it was a cowl or something. And then this one was my first hand dyed colour, which is Heather, and I love this colour a lot, but obviously I'm not very far on. It's really simple, so I managed to do 3 and a little bit while playing D&D last night. Not really looking at the colours, but I'm quite happy with them. I think it's going to be all and everything colours, and I think that'll be fun, and a lot of them I will be able to do up to maybe 4 or 5 squares with the amount that I've got, so I think there'll be cohesion somewhere in there. Yeah, if you are looking for a blanket, this is a very easy pattern. I like that you can build it as you go. I am going to try and get into the habit of weaving the ends in now, because I think it's not going to be very fun to do hundreds of ends in one go. And I might see how much yarn we've got left or what I've got. I might just do a very simple crocheted border around the whole thing and then do like 4 tassels in each, like 1 tassel in each corner. We'll see, that's a long way off yet. But I think this will be the right amount of interest for me for a blanket. I think if I did something really complicated, I would really enjoy it. But knowing that I could maybe, you know, even do a strip and then mattress stitch them together while we're away or whatever, I think, yeah, it's just right. It's nice. It's almost like having a sock to knit on, but bigger, and nice comfortable needles, because I do find that mini circulars, if I'm knitting around people, I tend to use the minis just because then no stitches are falling off if I'm not looking. But I do have to find that I constantly remind myself to relax my hands, and they are comfortable, but not for extended periods of time, whereas these will be, I think I might switch to a longer cable and longer needles, because I use these all the time for hats and things, but these are a lot more comfortable for me. I can do it without looking. I have a stitch marker that I'm putting up which shows me which side's the right side and which side things are happening. You just do 1 decreased row, 1 normal row, all in knit, absolutely no thinking at all. Yeah, we'll see where this goes. I think Alex needs to get his the right day, because I have divided for the sleeves for his Gansey and worked the first 2 or 3 rows so that he knows I've set up markers for each different chart section, because it's got like 5 charts, but we need a bit of daylight and a bit of a longer stretch of time where we can sit together and I can teach him how to do cables, but hopefully he'll enjoy that, but intermittently we'll be able to knit a square or 2 on this, because I think it will be, this in particular will be special, because this is gonna, you know, how do I say it? I think the person that it's for will really appreciate that Alex has put knitting time into this. Yes. So yeah, I think that's all I have this week. You will know very shortly, but I'm not sure if I'm going to put footage from their nature reserve and the Croxley Moors in here today, or I might put in last weekend where we were up north and outside again, and I did a bit of roller skating, which I haven't done in a while, because then it's now been sunny for almost 2 weeks. But before, we had a couple of nice days and I got to roller skate and I fell on my bottom and then it rained, so I didn't get back to the skate park. So it was the first time I had gone back to a skate park, which I really had already forgotten how much I loved. It was so much fun, but I couldn't really remember what to do, what I wanted to try, but I didn't have my bum pads, which I highly recommend if you are deciding that it's a fun idea to roller skate. So I didn't go and do anything too out there. I didn't try anything new. So yeah. Whew. Maybe I did talk quickly again. I think I'm just a bit chaotic. For those that want to know, D&D was really fun last night. we did just more kind of adventuring, more travel, which we did previously on our last session too. We did quite a bit of travelling, and then my character's finally being a bit more friendly, which has been really nice to play, but because how quickly we were moving, there wasn't too much role playing, which was totally fine. Like, I can get carried away and role play everything from, eye rolling to baking. Just I can overdo it. So it was quite good to be moving, but I'm really excited to play next time so that I can finally be a bit more like friendly, because a lot of the other characters are quite, huggy and vibrant, and my character at the moment is like, which is really different for me and really difficult to play because my Firbolg and my previous even Barbarian are like totally different. So this is really a quite a hard learning curve to be. But anyway, I haven't given anything away there really. I haven't explained anything, but just know it was really fun, and I'm really excited to see my character and everyone else's characters develop. And yeah, I hope that no matter what you're up to, you are having a nice week. I hope that you've managed to get a bit of sunshine, because sunshine. I hope that if you are somewhere slightly hotter, you're not overheating too much. If you're in the southern hemisphere and it's a bit cooler, I hope you're enjoying that too. Enjoying your knitting, perhaps more wintry autumnal knits than we might be over here. And yeah, don't forget to stay hydrated. I say this all the time. I'm going to have a ABC after. I'm going to have that with my lunch, which is an apple, beetroot and carrot with a huge nub of ginger in it, and then some water. Whizzed up. It's my favourite for ease because it's very easy to remember and it always tastes good, whereas a lot of the green juices that I like to do, they're for health. They don't always taste delicious. That's not to say anyone else has to have them. I just really like them and I thought I'd share. And yeah, look after yourselves, look after one another. And I hope whatever projects you're working on, if you are working on a project, you are enjoying them. And if you're not working on one and maybe want to start, very much recommend it. Very Pink Knits was kind of the channel that really got me started. I find her way of describing things very simple, and she often does like slow-mo versions and continental versions. Very cool if you want to learn. I'm always happy to try and answer questions if that's useful, especially if you're someone looking to get into knitting or looking into garments. I'm all ears. And I'm going to finish waffling, but be excellent to each other, and I hope to see you again very, very soon.